Hello, my name is Matthias Cavodi. I'd like to welcome guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about a pretty interesting moment during the Avengers West Coast series, issues 47 to 52, where we have Scarlet Witch dealing with the loss of her husband. His brain, Vision's brain, was erased, and so she's dealing with that loss. We have the return of the original Human Torch, and it sort of opens up a can of worms because supposedly Vision was built off the original Human Torch, and now Human Torch is back. He's alive. He's well, and so we have a lot of questions referred to that. And after that, we have, I'm not sure to say if it's a tragic death or disappearance because it's sort of weird, of Vision and Scarlet Witch's kids, which are part of a pretty tragic plot that way further down the line will lead to Scarlet Witch destroying the Avengers, which I'm going to do in a video maybe today or tomorrow if I'm lucky. So let's get into these issues because there's a lot to unpack in this beautiful insanity of West Coast Avengers. So these issues were written by John Byne. John Byne, sorry, I pronounced that incorrectly. Art is by Mike Machlan. Fantastic art. And we immediately start with Scarlet Witch pleading with two of the smartest members of the West Coast Avengers. Actually, Black Panther wasn't on the team. He's there visiting. Hank Pym, Black Panther, and trying to help her get Vision's not only memories back, but his personality. The part that was Wonder Man's when the government dismantled Vision and erased his memory. Wonder Man's personality, which were the basis to Vision, are not present anymore. So basically, is not what he used to be. And we have to add to this situation that Wonder Man doesn't want to give his brainwaves back to Vision. So this is sort of like a dick move by Wonder Man. This really pisses Scarlet Witch off. There's this big soap opera vibe in this whole story because Wonder Man actually is also in love with Scarlet Witch. This is sort of obvious because Vision was based off his personality, so he's also has always been in love with her. Telling him to go forth and tell her that he's in love with her, and so on and so forth. Totally disrespecting poor Vision, who basically is now lifeless android. He's a walking toaster oven. Thing that Vision and Wonder Man were like sort of like brothers is no more immediately. Also during this time, US Agent had joined the team. I always loved this second-rate Captain America and how much of a blockhead he is. No one likes his presence on the team. That's another big thing about this character. So Scarlet Witch takes Vision to this scientist group, to this university, especially that specializes in robotics, to see if they can help, since her teammates are total dicks to her and ignore her. Because when she pleads for help, Pym and T'Challa's like, no, we have more urgent things to deal with, and Vision can wait. So being total jerks, her teammates, Scarlet Witch gets pissed off, takes a Quinjet, and tries to find help. This particular story arc is actually really interesting. They go to this university, and what ends up happening is Scarlet Witch gets captured, and she's bonded with this like this symbiote type of being, bacteria that possesses bodies. And it's a really interesting villain. It reminds me of a character that comes way more farther down the line with the X-Men, John Byne. This bacteria takes over host bodies and works as a hive mind. And this bacteria was having issues possessing mutants. So this was like the first experiment that this bacteria was able to take over a mutant. Evil bacteria has been since the dawn of time, and now they've chosen to start dominating mutants and make sure that humans get extinct. So Scarlet Witch is the first mutant it's able to convert. We have Captain America and She-Hulk guest starring. With She-Hulk, I love her get-up. It's even though this probably came out early 90s, it's very reminiscent of the time, that type of sportswear that she's wearing. And oddly enough, it would work nowadays. It's so crazy how how style comes back and forth over the years. Vision has no idea of this whole situation with the bacteria taking over his wife's. Like he's sort of hanging out at the base, still waiting for them to start working on his programming and stuff like that. Evil possessed Scarlet Witch is able to defeat Captain America and She-Hulk very easily. She's able to possess She-Hulk, and we have the Great Lake Avengers having to jump in and save the day, rescue their lost teammates when they get an alarm from the university that something really bad went down. And the really cool thing about this story is that before I get into what I liked about the story, the art too is really good. It has aged very well. I really like the White Vision design. I like both of them, but this one it's really cool. I do enjoy it even though it's all white. And at the end of the story, to defeat the bacteria, Mr. Immortal has to go into a room that has so much radiation it's going to kill him. And it's so cool how they resolve it, because he ends up like killing the main bacteria that's controlling everything, controlling this hive mind. And so it's sort of funny, like the villain says, hey, you're going to die if you go there. And Mr. Immortal is like, yeah, it's sort of my thing. He goes in, destroys the machine. Everyone's broken away from the control of the bacteria. But it's sort of funny. This writing here, this panel here is like the evil bacteria dude, Random, I think is called, Dr. Random. It's like he's not going to be able to get too far. It's like, idiot. He gets really pissed off when he realizes what happened. So this is actually a pretty interesting and different story into this pretty crazy convoluted territory where Toro, like Human Torch had a sidekick called Toro. His wife appears at the Avengers mansion, West Coast Avengers. Here we have Wonder Man changes his look. He doesn't have the mullet anymore. He has all his hair nice and slick and back. I had a brief interruption there, but Toro's wife goes to Avengers and says maybe he's still alive. Some crazy convoluted reasons. So we sort of go back into the deaths of Human Torch and to the death of Toro, trying to find out. So it puts into question if Vision's actually built off the original Human Torch or not, if Ultron had used them or not. So the Avengers, Pym tries to find out Mr. Phineas Horton, the creator of Human Torch, try to find out if he can give him any type of information. This particular page where no one stands U.S. agent and Wonder Man starts giving him a ton of grief. But what happens is they go to the cemetery, they discover that the original Human Torch is perfectly fine in his tomb, and Scarlet Witch uses her hex powers and basically reactivates the original Human Torch. He's back from the dead. And so we have this big question, who the hell, what's Vision made out of? The hypothesis is that Ultron used spare parts that Horton had lying around to create Vision. So he's sort of based off the original Human Torch, but he's not. But we discover in Avengers Forever that we have time travel shenanigans from Immortus. He actually created two Human Torches using some time trickery. So that's why. So basically, yeah, they're both the same character. And Human Torch is going to be part of the West Coast Avengers for a while, but he's not going to ever be like, he's always sort of around. Like, stuff happens to him, but he's not really a member, but he is. It's sort of weird, his situation. It's like the writers brought him back, but didn't know what to do with this character. Iron Man returning to the team only for just a couple pages. I don't know why they did that. But what happens is Scarlet Witch's and Vision's kids get kidnapped by a group of demons. Now, when West Coast Avengers have to deal with demons, it's always related to Master Pandemonium. He's such a stupid villain, but he's so ridiculous that he's awesome. It's sort of weird, especially how his powers work and stuff like that. So the Avengers are having to deal with this horde of demons. They kidnap Wanda's kids. And what happens next? Basically, nightmare fuel. What we discover is Wanda's kids are actually fragments of Master Pandemonium's soul. He's, during the whole Avengers story run, since he popped up, he was like searching for the different pieces of his soul because he got screwed over by Mephisto. So it seems that Wanda actually made her children based on fragments of her soul, and using her powers, she made these children that are his arms, and this looks horrifying. Oh my god. So obviously, Scarlet Witch is really messed up with this whole situation. So while the battle is raging on with the West Coast Avengers and Master Pandemonium, Pandemonium actually gets the last fragments of his soul. When he does, he just blips out of existence. He just disappears. And what we discover is that he had been played by Mephisto the whole time. Mephisto actually was killed, or something happened to him with Franklin Richards. His soul was split into different parts and flew across the world. And he created Master Pandemonium basically to find his missing parts of what soul he had. And after he did that, he just totally screwed him over. He gets blipped out of existence. So Wanda's kids are actually fragments of Mephisto. Pretty hilarious how Mephisto totally screws Master Pandemonium over. And it's really tragic that Wanda loses her children, loses her husband. This pretty much breaks her mind. This is going to lead to her, in a couple of issues, rejoining the Masters of Evil, becoming totally evil, becoming a pawn of Immortus. A lot happens, actually. After this, she basically gets mind wiped by Agatha Harkness, so she doesn't remember that she has children, and she forgets the whole ordeal. Like, after this, she's like sort of in a catatonic state for a while. So it's a pretty much messed up story how John Byne really set out to make things miserable for Scarlet Witch. So, guys, I hope you liked this video. See you guys next time. Bye.